Hello there. Welcome to another weekly update, and probably quite a short one this week, actually. It doesn't, I was going to say it doesn't feel like much is kind of happening coming out of Microsoft in the kind of Skype for Business development, Office 365 space. Bit unsure as to whether that's actually true or not, or whether it's just that I haven't noticed it because I've been kind of busy doing other things as well. But there's nothing I kind of saw throughout the week that I wanted to kind of pick up and talk about. What I did do this week was I sat down and recorded a video for Channel 9, all about the Skype for Business channel for the bot framework. So I wanted to spend a couple of minutes just talking about that because it's kind of interesting, and it's obviously, as you know, as I've kind of talked before, and you can go read in my blog and stuff, you've got the bot framework, which allows you to create kind of bots on this one platform and then open them up to multiple different channels. So things like Slack, Skype Consumer, Facebook Messenger, Kik, SMS, emails. There you can embed it in a website, bunch of functionality, all these different channels. And the advantage really is that you write your code once. You then don't have to deal with all these different integrations with all these different channels. That is all handled for you. So that's really nice. Now, recently, there was a new channel added, the Skype for Business channel. And as the name suggests, this allows you to take your code that you've written on Bot Framework and have it work with Skype for Business. So people on Skype for Business can also reach your bot. It shows up as a contact in the contact list. I talked about this last week. And there's some blog posts as well from a couple of weeks ago. That's all fine. However, there's almost a hidden feature is the wrong word, like an additional capability with the Skype for Business channel that the other channels don't have. And that's the ability for your bot to reach out and contact users directly on Skype for Business. Now, this is kind of made possible because Skype for Business it's kind of like its own ecosystem, right? It's this closed environment where if you want your bot to run on Skype for Business, you have to be a tenant admin, you have to run some PowerShell, you have to authorize the bot to run on your tenant. And if you've done that, then there's kind of an inbuilt assumption that you trust that bot. And because that trust is there, the way they built the channel, they've allowed your bot then to go and proactively reach out to users on Skype for Business and contact them. And you can't do that in any other channel today. So for really good reasons, you can imagine the chaos if people could write bots that could just randomly reach out to anyone on, say, Facebook Messenger. It would be an advertiser's dream. It would be everybody else's nightmare. So that's the reason you're not able to do it. But Skype for Business is a bit different because, like I say, it's a kind of closed ecosystem that a tenant admin has approved. So that's kind of really interesting. So, and it opens up a lot of different scenarios internal to a company. So you could imagine being able to reach out to users to provide them with information, to provide them with updates. Maybe the scenario flow is that users initially contact the bot to ask about information, but then the bot proactively reaches back to them as things get updated and as new information comes in. That's one scenario. Another scenario might be that you have sort of almost two faces to your bot. So you have a customer-facing bot, or sort of customer-facing side to your bot, which is on things like Facebook Messenger and Skype Consumer, where people contact your bot and you try and answer those questions, maybe use a bit of AI and machine learning. But if you can't do that and you want to connect them with Skype for Business people, then Skype for Business people inside your organization, like your other colleagues, your support team, whoever else it is, those people have Skype for Business, so you can proactively reach out to them, and then you can provide some kind of sort of liaison service between those two worlds. So that was kind of interesting. What I did in the video was go through exactly how you can do that in code. So it's quite a developer-focused video. There's quite a lot of code on the screen. There's no slides. It's quite informal and relatively rough in that it's me talking, but I'm sharing my screen so you can see the steps I'm going through. So if that sounds like interesting, go and have a look for it on Channel 9. I did a blog post about it as well. just pointing really to the Channel 9 video. So that's pretty much the kind of main focus of my week. I've spent some time on looking at some other things, and so the things that are on my list really to complete in the next week or so. There's the part 3 of my Standout in Search blog post series. So if you remember, I did parts 1 and part 2 in the past couple of weeks, and we talked about enabling your bot to show up on Bing searches. And I still have a part 3. I've kind of written most of it. Just to give you an update, my bot has now been accepted in the bot framework dashboard. So it is now fully published, and I wanted to go through those steps so I could show you what it would look like. So I've updated the post before I publish it. There's something that's not quite right somewhere because it's still not showing up in search results. So I've kind of reached out to Microsoft to try and get that resolved. I kind of want to get it all sorted before I publish a blog post so you can see all the steps, and then I can kind of get all the gotchas and stuff all in one place. So that's kind of happening at the moment. The other thing I'm going to try and make time to do this week is to go through the sessions properly from build, because I still haven't done that. There's some sessions I really want to watch because there's some interesting stuff I think going on with HoloLens and Skype for Business. Now, that's not news. Tom Arbuthnot talked about it a while back. It's kind of known that that Skype for Business and HoloLens are, working together to do something. I'm kind of more interested in what that story looks like for developers specifically. So I'm looking to go through those build sessions to try and pick up some tips, pick up some hints about where things maybe are going, and to try and work out who the people are I need to start following and start talking to try and work out what's going on there. So that might be quite interesting, I think. I think HoloLens and Skype for Business could do some really amazing things together. So watch this space on that. I think that's an area I'm certainly picking up as being interesting. So I kind of want to follow that and see where that leads. The other thing I've been doing, this is completely not related to Skype for Business or development, completely off topic before I leave you for the week. If you read my blog, you'll know I've done some stuff with Ubiquiti Wi-Fi. And so I spent a good deal of time this weekend doing some of the cabling for that. And that's good. That's now completed. So my part 1 is now complete, and I'm going to write it up as a blog post, I think, when I get the chance. And that's very much in the category of future proofing. So you definitely don't need Ubiquiti's mesh Wi-Fi all around your house unless you live in a mansion, and I do not live in a mansion. But if you're like me, I kind of if I'm going to do something, I really want to future-proof it. I want to do something once and then forget about it, for 10 years or something. So I tend to be very over the top about things when they need to get done, especially around the house. So this is one of those things. I'm spending a bunch of effort and not inconsiderable amount of money to put in mesh Wi-Fi in the hope that I then can just top it up over time and it'll always be good, because I genuinely see our consumption of Wi-Fi, I mean, kind of socially, generally people, but also more specifically us as a couple, I see our consumption of Wi-Fi going up and up over the next 5 years, and I want that to work in the garden. I want it to work at the front of the house and the back of the house and in all parts of the house, and I just want us to forget that patchy Wi-Fi was ever a thing. So that's the reason for putting putting Ubiquiti stuff everywhere. It's going really well. I'm going to write it up. It did mean that I had to spend a good 3 hours in the loft with my face full of mineral dust, trying to reach the kind of soffit of the house to try and poke some cable through it. It's horrible, horrible, horrible job, but it's done now. So that's what I mean, right? It's done. I never have to do that again. That is ticked off the list, and now we have an access point in the loft, so upstairs is pretty well sorted. So it's stuff like that. So that's completely off topic and off tangent, and has meant that this weekly update has gone long again, even though there was really nothing to say. It's just me rambling. So I'm going to wind up now. I'm going to let you get back to your weekend, and I'm going to wish you a very good week, and I will speak to you again next week.